Hey, 7-Footers gang, how are you doing after a 2-week hiatus?
We're back.
Jarod and Jenna here, and we have so much to talk about this week. How was your time off, Jarod? Because we're in a new studio,
I mean,
aren't we?
I hope the fans are really enjoying this new setup we got here. We are in the new 7-Footers studio at an undisclosed location in Tribeca with the super talented producer Matt behind the scenes.
Yes, give producer Matt a shout out. He's right over here behind me for people that can't see on my live.
Super producer Matt was talking about his favorite NBA teams from back in the day, the old school Seattle Supersonics with Sean Payton and Sean Kemp and Gary Payton.
Talk about a throwback Thursday, right?
Listen, hey, Seattle fans, you might have a team sooner than you think.
You never know. One can dream, right?
We'll get to that at a later pod.
Exactly, because we need to jump into things right now. And let's kick things off with the hottest storyline of the week and the most emotional, I would say, for me anyway.
Folks, this woman texted me nonstop about this.
I can't help it, okay? D-Wade and Bron's last game, okay?
Yeah.
At Staples Center, LeBron said he couldn't have had it anywhere else unless it was Madison Square Garden, but we will get to that
in a minute.
Knicks fans, we will get to it. But tell me this. First of all, we have the Lakers who take the W over the Miami Heat.
Right.
Dwayne Wade missed a little game winner. Him and Bron guarded each other at the end. It was amazing, bittersweet. They hugged it out after. And it was a beautiful moment. I mean, they exchanged jerseys. What do you think of this Last Dance tour so far, before we get into the technicalities of this little matchup?
Listen, I'm happy that Dwayne was able to, play relatively well in that last game.
Yeah, he put up 15 in the third alone.
Yeah, I mean, he took a lot of shots, but we won't get into the efficiency numbers.
Hey, okay. Year 16, baby.
Listen, yes, it is year 16. And, I think the most enduring part of this is the LeBron-Wade friendship, right? And the real sense of community and brotherhood those two share. And I think the important part for everyone to remember is that LeBron doesn't have any siblings, right? Like, he didn't grow up with that kind of a family unit. And so Dwayne, Carmelo, CP, like, these guys are his brothers, right? This is his family, his extended family.
Yeah.
And so it was a nice moment for Dwayne, nice moment for Bron. And now we can get into the particulars about all the funny comments they made about either here or the Garden and all that stuff.
Okay, so let's set everybody up here. So after the game, LeBron and Wade have an exchange, right?
Yeah.
And cameras catch them. Now let me add this, that LeBron always makes his conversation secretive. All the time. Always covers his mouth, everything, okay?
Always.
So they have a conversation, and cameras catch it, and he says, yo, bro, it was either here in Staples Center or the Garden. So let's dissect this a little bit, because what does that mean? The Garden?
Listen, man.
The Garden.
Listen. LeBron...
Should Knicks fans be hyped?
Listen, LeBron knows what he's doing, and you people fall for this nonsense every time. And it's funny because we were talking off air before we started about certain NBA players and how they handle the media. Some guys just don't like talking just because they hate that part of the job. Kawhi Leonard. Some guys love talking to the media because they just love talking hoops. Kevin Durant. And we may argue that he may not be the most PR savvy because he just says whatever's on his mind at the moment, which is actually, refreshing. But LeBron's calculated. Everything he does is for a reason.
I agree.
And what he was saying about Madison Square Garden, in my opinion, had nothing to do with the Knicks in that regard. It was more about LeBron knows he is a megastar. NBA players are among the most recognizable celebrities in the world. Not just athletes, but just straight celebrities.
Yeah.
And I think for him it was, for something like this, a last dance for Wade, last time he plays against LeBron, in his mind, the only two places that could happen would be the Staples Center, because that's a famous arena, or Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. So that's sort of where I think that was coming from. It's like, we need the two biggest stages in basketball, and it's either here in LA,
to go out,
where all the celebrities are, or New York City, where all the other celebrities are, and the most famous arena in the world. That's what I'm thinking. Of cource, NBA Twitter went crazy. Knicks fans, blah, blah, blah. Listen, odds of LeBron's likely never going to the Knicks.
No.
Just given who was in charge, given the ownership and the GM and all that, that wasn't going to happen.
But did you see the memes online? This is where NBA Twitter performed, because the memes online actually showed banners in the Raptors at MSG that says, LeBron once considered us. I was crying, literally crying.
Because when you're a Knicks fan, I mean, and over the last 25 years, which is probably what the majority of our demographic is, or you know, you didn't have much to cheer for. I mean,
very true.
Outside of that one playoff run that Carmelo Anthony Knicks made that one year, where they threw confetti down because they won a game, I mean, geez, it's not, or a first round series if I'm not mistaken. Not great, but anyway.
Never good.
Listen, great for Dwayne, great for Bron. You know, they basically showed a different way of how the NBA and its players can compete and can do what needs to be done.
And this is another conversation for another time, but I would definitely love to add that they have shown what it means to actually play with your best friend and make another player better.
And that's
Dwayne Wade took a backseat role when LeBron James came to Miami.
He did.
It's a prime example of how you can take a lesser role and still be as effective. And I mean that translating to, hey, Carmelo Anthony, maybe we could do that. But again, another conversation for another time.
You're right. And you're right about that. And just to piggyback on what you just said, you know, Wade and Stephen A. Smith said this in a much more elevated and exacerbated tone, but LeBron wins because of Dwayne Wade, right? Dwayne Wade's willingness to say, okay, I'm going to take the back seat here. Yeah. Let you operate, and I will play off you.
Yeah.
You know, it takes a special kind of humbling of the ego. Because, look, LeBron is the better player, but Dwayne Wade's no slouch, right? I mean,
he's Hall of Fame talent, obviously.
You, Dwayne Wade won a title before LeBron got there.
Let's just say that, and a lot of people forget that.
Right? So let's not act like, you know.
So you just answered my next question. Did LeBron need Wade to succeed?
He did.
In Miami, especially.
Of course.
Okay.
Listen, everyone loves to do this thing about how this title doesn't count because you had to play with this guy. Nobody wins titles by themselves.
No, it's a team effort.
Look at the history of the NBA. It is impossible to win championships by yourself. You cannot.
Yeah.
You cannot. You need help. That's just how it goes. Look at the history of every great dynasty or teams that have won multiple titles. It's more than one guy because more than one guy, you need help.
Oh, yeah.
In the playoffs, guess what? If you only got one dude, I can scheme how to stop that guy and make the rest of your guys try to beat me.
Prime example, last year's finals. I mean, come on. We obviously knew that the Cavs had no chance against the Warriors, but when you have only one guy, LeBron James, and you really have no help, that it is what it is. But let's move on to another question that this LeBron-Wade Last Dance game brought up. Okay. Top 5 iconic duos.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you mine, and then I want you to tell me yours.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, and for everybody at home, please feel free to contribute on live, everything we're on here. My top 5, I think that LeBron and Wade fall behind Pippen and Jordan, Magic and Kareem, and Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah.
So it would be, then they'd be 4. So then 5, I would probably have to throw it in there with like a Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, maybe, as much as that pains me to say that.
You know, Jenna, this may shock you. I think we might actually agree on this list. What? Yeah.
December 12th at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Time. We agree on something. Matt, do you agree with this?
Jarod agrees with Jenna on a basketball take.
Exactly.
Yeah, look, Jordan Pippen, for sure, iconic duo. Magic Kareem, I mean, you know me. I grew up on basketball in the 80s. That's my first memory of basketball. Magic Johnson was my favorite player of all time. So Kareem, I mean, those guys are great. You know, obviously Kobe, Shaq, and what they did with that three-peat, going to 4 straight finals. LeBron and Wade going to 4 finals, winning 2, or 3 finals, winning 2. It's all escaping me because they lost 4.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think it was 4.
4. They lost 2. Lost to the Spurs once. Lost to the Mavericks that one time.
Yeah.
And then KD and Steph are coming up, but you know, you might have to give it back to another old school
that the kids
duo.
these days don't know.
And you know, I have my feelings about the Celtics, which we can get to at a later date, but you might have to put the Bird McHale group up there. You know, they were pretty good, although they never three-peated, so.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. We got to go. That's how Steph Curry and Kevin Durant fall into my top 5.
Because you think they will three-peat this year.
I think they're going to three-peat.
Right, so you already have them at 5 because they're going to three-peat this year.
But the thing is, though, I'm not going to say guarantee. Like, I wouldn't sit here and put money on it right now. Right. Look at those Raptors up in Toronto. Okay? We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. Let's talk really quick. Lakers, they're 7-3 in their last 10 games. Yeah. They still have Rondo out, but apparently that really isn't saying much because they're 7-3 in their last 10 games. So tell me about this dynamic a little bit. How are we doing in LA?
LA's playing a lot better than I thought they would. They're playing with a lot of offensive pace right now, which is really impressive to see.
Yeah.
Look, I've said this before to you. This is not the roster that's going to be playing in April, I don't think.
Absolutely not.
But look, Kuzma's playing well right now. Josh Hart playing unbelievably well.
I'm proud of Josh Hart.
Listen, he's doing well.
Summer League. Did you see him in Summer
League? Listen, Josh Hart's the man.
Yikes.
Lonzo, he's doing Lonzo things.
We'll see when Rondo comes back.
Brandon Ingram, listen, I don't know. The trade deadline is going to be interesting.
February
7th. You can officially start trading players who are free agents in 2018, starting this December 15th.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see after the holidays what goes on. But look, the Lakers right now are slowly climbing up that
they are
that board over there.
They are. Somebody mentioned it when we went live before this that they were proud of the Lakers for climbing up. So I definitely
they're 17-10. They're 7 games above 500. They're only 1.5 games out of the first spot in the Western Conference. Now, granted, look, we're only 27 games in, but look, that by Christmas, most teams are going to have played 45% of their games. So we're going to be just about halfway through the season.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Don't
tell me that.
Just a regular season. We got playoffs still to go. Don't worry.
Right. All right, let's move on here because exciting things happening in the Bay with Boogie Cousins.
Yes.
Who suffered no setbacks with his Achilles injury, was targeting a return for after Christmas or potentially before Christmas. But, I mean, it's looking good. He's been moved to the G League just for a little bit, get his feet wet, back to normal.
Think that makes sense?
What do we think when Boogie Cousins comes back in this lineup, how he's going to shake things up on the floor?
Well, I mean,
the Warriors aren't struggling, but I mean, when you throw Boogie Cousins in, it's like a party.
And that's the thing. And so Warriors fans, get ready that throwing Boogie out there is going to screw up the continuity a little bit.
Well, who's he going to replace in the starting
five?
Well,
he's going to replace Kevon Looney, who's been starting at center, which is fine. He'll put Looney on the bench. But he's going to mess with the flow a little bit. And you have to also remember...
Got to get chemistry again, too.
Got to get chemistry. And Golden State likes to push the pace and push the tempo. And look, he's coming off an Achilles. And Boogie is already a large man, well over 280-plus pounds. I mean, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
So it's gonna take him a little while. We saw some video of him running and doing some work.
He feels good.
He's looking good, but he's also looking a little sluggish. And it's going to take him some time to work through that. I think look, we're not going to see peak All-NBA Boogie, honestly, in my estimation, again, until sometime next season. But I do think he will be a vital key and piece to helping this Warriors team potentially win their 3rd straight title in the playoffs.
Craziness.
Yeah.
Actual craziness.
Yeah, I mean, your starting lineup is Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, and Boogie Cousins. That is insane.
That's frightening, to be honest with you.
You have 5 All-Stars. That is an All-Star team. You are literally fielding an All-Star team.
And they'll bring him in back, obviously, with limited minutes and restricted minutes and everything like that.
Right.
But the thing is, too, as well, he is only there for a year. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Warriors utilize him for that very short time before they say goodbye. Because, as we know, Steve Kerr said that at the beginning of the season.
And I think they want to, give Boogie an opportunity. So it's a win-win situation. Help them win a title, but also showcase him so that he can be, because he's a free agent 2019, next summer. So where's he going to go? And is he going to get the max?
You think he's worth a max contract?
I mean, before his Achilles injury, you would have said yes, right? Boogie's a max player.
Of course I would have.
So, right. So the question is, we'll see how he plays. And look, if he gives any glimpses that he is that kind of All-NBA guy, some team will give him a max deal. And that's the thing.
Who needs a big man right now?
Nobody's talking about Boogie Cousins summer 2019. Everybody's talking about Kawhi, KD, rightfully so.
Exactly. Everybody's sleeping on it. And they were sleeping on him too before he got signed to the Warriors.
But Boogie,
come on.
I'm telling you, man. Listen, this is a guy who was 27, 10, and 5. What?
Okay.
What? It's insane.
It is insane. Let's move on here because the Clippers aren't usually in the news a lot for winning or anything, but It looks like they're going after KD and Kawhi hard and are confident, according to Brian Windhorst of ESPN, that they can get both. Because they have 2 max roster spots. So,
they will.
What's the vibe in LA?
The vibe in LA, and if you read Windhorst articles we both did, they're sending scouts and Lawrence Frank, GM, head of basketball operations, out to Toronto Raptors games, checking on Kawhi. Look, Doc Rivers, we might just say right now, is doing one of his, probably the best coaching job of his career.
Yeah.
This squad is really good right now.
Yeah.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the rookie point guard, is playing well. Tobias Harris is playing himself into a max contract right now. Montrezl Harrell might be the league's most improved player. Lou Will, 6-man. I mean,
fired off. Keep going.
Listen, the Clippers are playing well. Danilo Gallinari, who you could argue that's the worst contract that they have in their books. He's playing well. Look, if I were to tell you the Clippers were going to lose CP3, DeAndre Jordan, and Blake Griffin in the span of a year, and the next season they would be playing well enough to be a playoff caliber team, you'd probably be like, boy, what you smoking?
I would have.
Right?
I actually would have taken you for a cat stand. Would have had to replace you, maybe.
Whoa,
I would never.
But I mean, look, they're 17-10. They're playing well.
Yeah,
they've got
I like what I see in LA.
I'm liking what I see, and look, they've got the 2 max spots. Kawhi's already made it known through various ways that playing with LeBron may not be what he wants to do. But he's from LA.
KD, man.
But he's from LA, so he goes to the Clippers.
I can't see Kawhi in LA. Being an LA guy is what I'm saying.
Listen, if he comes with KD, if they come together, that is a nightmare.
Extreme nightmare. And I could feel it in my bones that KD is, especially if they get a three-peat, KD is looking for a new project. It's like he's itching. He's itching for like a new playground almost.
You know, it's tough, because I said to you beginning of the season, I was like, no matter what, he's out at the end of the season. I'm not backtracking fully, but I think it's more of
if you do, I'm never letting you let that down.
I'm not going to backtrack, but I think that, look, and I've said this at the beginning too, look, Golden State is still a likely play that he would stick around. Just because, listen, that team could run off another 2 more chips. Or they could win 5 chips in a row, or 5 in the next 7. Or I mean, listen, and they do that. That's immortal status. So
it's just not normal. If they do that, I mean, you might as well just give me a hospital bed now. Anywhere. I don't even care where I gotta go.
But
I'm gonna need some
as I've said before, dynasties are fragile things. So
you are right, my friend.
So who knows?
I mean, look what happened at the beginning of the season.
Right. So
Draymond, that won't be the last. Mark my words. I've said this before, and I'll say it again.
Draymond.
It won't be the last time Draymond wilds out with that team.
Oh no, definitely not.
Absolutely not.
Definitely not.
And KD or not, I think he's going to go off on someone.
Listen, that's just who Draymond is. So
very true.
To see.
Very true, very true. Let's move into a segment called What's Up. As you guys know, we take storylines around the NBA and we say what is up with this team, this player, this situation, anything it may be. We ask the question, what is going on with you guys for real?
Love it.
So let's talk about number 1. What is up with the Trailblazers? They're 3-7 in their last 10 games. My question to you is, are they even a playoff team right now?
I mean,
are they going to make the playoffs?
Well, if the playoffs would start today, they'd be the 8th seed. So.
Well, they're in between a 7 and 8 seed right now.
Listen,
they're 3 games above 500.
Listen, Dame and CJ are great.
They are, but is it enough at this point? No. How many years are we going to read the same book over and over and over again?
It's just not. And Nurkic, who's good for them, but Nurkic isn't Jokic, right? Like, so Nurk.
If you say it really fast,
you're like, wait a minute, are they the same guy? Nurk's just not quite at that level.
No.
If Nurk was a little better, I'd say, okay, maybe. They just don't have enough help. And I also wonder, when your 2 lead guys, in Dame and CJ, are under 6'3", listen, you know my thing about small people. Small. They're taller than me. But small people in this league.
I know your theory.
Especially in the playoffs. It's when your lead guys are small, not good.
No.
Because you can wear those guys down. You can trap them. You can take the ball out of their hands. And if Dame and CJ aren't hitting, who are you going to? Al-Farouq Amino?
Who?
Yeah, right. Mo Harkless? Evan Turner? Yeah.
Well, that's
Crickets.
what's going on in Portland over there.
So a move might be necessary. You know who might be on the trading block?
Do tell.
Bradley Beal from the Washington Wizards. Would Bradley be nice next to Damian Lillard?
Bradley Beal would be nice anywhere. Okay, I am just saying that. But skill-wise, he'd still be nice anywhere.
or would Dame be nice in LA with LeBron?
I don't think. The thing is, would I love that? Of course. But do we need Dame in LA?
I mean, I'm sure LeBron would love Damian Lillard in LA.
Of course, but it depends if you get rid of pieces in LA.
Well,
which you would.
Have to, yes.
Of course you would, but that's a whole other mess of a trade. But Bradley Beal, I think the Wizards need to split up that duo. And again, another conversation for another time.
Yes. But which we talked about that, I think.
Yeah, we did on the last pod, which was super interesting.
But yeah, so Portland, I'm not loving what I'm seeing out of them right now. I'll be curious. I think they're playing tonight, actually. They're playing Memphis right now.
Well, if we're checking real-time games,
and we're checking
Pacers,
real-time scores right now. Oh, the Pacers beat the Bucks 113-97.
Pacers beat the Bucks. Cavs bet the Knicks.
So that Grizzlies Trailblazers game, Grizzlies 48-42 in the third.
Nice.
This is a Grizzlies kind of score right now.
How's that Nets game going?
That Nets game, 119-110, 120 to go. Woo!
Yikes.
Spencer Dinwiddie, 33 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists. Joel Embiid, 33, 17, and 6. He's a monster.
He's a monster this season. Well deserved because he needed to improve, and there's a lot of eyes on him. So good for him. Let's move on. Number 2, what is up with the Utah Jazz? We have Donovan Mitchell not playing to full potential. His shooting numbers are down from last year. I know you want to talk about this rookie wave. Everybody is still riding. So tell me what your thoughts are about D. Mitch.
Listen, I love Donovan Mitchell. Great player. Love this rookie season. Well, he follows you on Instagram. Have you guys had any chats recently?
We actually haven't. But he does follow me on Instagram, just so you guys know. It might be a mistake, so don't tell him. He might go through and unfollow me.
We do this thing where we just assume that someone has a great rookie season, that the progression is going to be linear. Oh, they're going to make a jump next season. They're going to do it. That's not how it always works. And look, besides Donovan and Rudy Gobert, who's good on that team? Crickets again. Right, like Joe Ingles not playing that well. Right, like they need another piece out there, and I just don't know who that's going to be at this current moment.
Hypothetically speaking, with free agency in 2019, who is a good piece for the Utah Jazz?
Well, we did this thing with that beginning during our IG Live. Who is a player, past or present, that you'd love to bring back who could help them? You know who would help the Utah Jazz right now? Tracy McGrady would help the Utah Jazz.
Dang.
Except he's not there. Look, they have a lot of ill-fitting pieces, right? Like Derek Favors, Jay Crowder. They brought Korver back, Rubio. It's just
Korver back to Utah.
They need a good wing player, like a really good wing player, and they don't have one. Look, Joe Ingles is not it. He's just not.
No, I mean...
Jay Crowder, not it.
Well, here's what we talked about, too. Donovan Mitchell has to put up huge numbers every night for this team to succeed.
And that's a lot for him to do.
It's his second year.
It's a lot
it's a lot to ask from somebody.
It's a lot to ask for him. And number 2, Utah's also not playing as well this year defensively as they did last year. They're having a tough time adjusting to the freedom of movement rule that the NBA officials have implemented. We saw Rudy freak out in the most recent game and get tossed in the first
Not even 3 minutes into the game, and he gets tossed after throwing a water cup and almost hits Roz.
Yes, TNT's Roz Goldenwood.
Yeah.
Who's in New York?
She is. I just saw. Yeah.
A local New York girl. We love Roz.
Yep.
And so they are where they are, and they are definitely going to be in the market to make a move because they can't be happy with where things sit currently.
Exactly.
Utah, if the playoffs were to start today, Utah's out. They are. They're 13 and 15.
Yeah. No.
I mean,
you think they're going to make the playoffs?
I think they're good enough to, but I'm starting to get concerned. They have a negative point differential, and everybody's still in this. Oh, it's still early. It's still early. They've already played 29 games. Again, by New Year's Eve, they would have played almost half their games already this season.
Once we hit January, that's when you know it's go time.
I mean, you got to make a move because
exactly.
If you're still out of the playoff race, you're going to start running off 8 out of your next 10, 12 out of 15. You've got to start getting on that roll if you want to make it into the playoffs.
For sure. Number 3. Wow, I don't even know if I want to get to this one. Okay. What is up with the Chicago Bulls? Okay, they have oh my gosh, the worst loss in franchise history, 50 points to the Celtics the other night. I mean, they have a player-coach meeting after. Juices must have been flowing there because nothing could have been good.
So the the Chicago Bulls fired Fred Hoiberg about a week ago now, and replaced him with Jim Boylan, who's on the bench, assistant coach. The reason for the firing of Hoiberg was he's too passive. He doesn't
soft.
Too soft. Doesn't have control of the locker room.
Yeah.
And what do teams do whenever that's the thing about a coach? He's too soft. Whatever. They go in the complete opposite direction and hire a hard ass, for lack of a better term, right? So Jim Boylan, Mr. Military guy, hard nosed, comes from that Spurs system, that Popovich kind of mentality.
And as we know, not everybody can be under Pop.
Forget about that. So NBA guys know how the schedule works, and this team played a back-to-back, so 2 games in a row. On the next day, he wants to have a 3-hour practice, have these guys run suicides, and like...
This isn't college ball. Right. Like, come on.
Of course they're going to mutiny. I mean, and during the meeting, you know, he's talking about, hey, I want you guys to be mad. Definitely talking about it. But when I was coaching in San Antonio, when I worked with Pop, and I believe one of the players reports to the Belief said, this ain't San Antonio, and you ain't Greg Popovich.
Exactly. Right? Only Pop can do Pop things.
Right? And Pop wouldn't do that. Pop wouldn't do after a back-to-back.
Because he's over it.
That's not what you do. Look, the reality of the Chicago roster is it's not very good right now. Let's just call it what it is. And
it's a
dumpster fire.
Thank you.
And that franchise, by the way, has been poorly run forever. Jerry Reinsdorf, bad owner. Gar Forman, John Paxson, I don't know what they're doing at the head of that organization. It's just not good all around.
No.
It's terrible. And so the thing is, they have pieces, right? Wendell Carter Jr. is a good player. Zach LaVine's got some potential. Lauri Markkanen.
Zach LaVine's balling out. Everybody's forgetting it because he's on a team.
Lauri Markkanen's got some potential. But, you know, and the issue you're going to have there is if you don't change the culture, with all these young guys, they're just going to get used to this kind of losing mentality,
and you get stuck.
And it's gonna spiral and go down and go really bad for them. But the thing is, I don't know how you change that, because the hardest thing to change in sports is ownership, right? Coaches and players can go. Ownerships, in many ways, stay forever. So
great.
I don't really know.
A lot of people are in trouble.
Right. Unless they get lucky, like when they had Derrick Rose and when they had Michael Jordan. That's the only time that they were good. Is luck. And unless they get a generational type player. Well, good luck, Chicago Bulls fans. That's all I got to say.
They're going to need a lot of it. Let's go on to say, what is up with the Rockets? Talk about slumps. They are in one right now. Yeah. What really is happening in Houston? We have CP3 not performing to full potential. Eric Gordon isn't even as good as last year.
Yeah.
I mean, Harden's obviously playing well, but you need help. And Capella is just not as good in the paint. So what are we going to do in Houston? My opinion, personally, I feel like there's something deeper here going on in the locker room. Was Melo your problem? No, apparently.
No, definitely not Melo.
So, what is your problem in Houston?
Look,
where do we even start?
I talked about this, I think, on one of our first pods of the season, and Houston had come through to Brooklyn early in the year. And I was talking to some of the Rockets officials, and you know they'll never admit this, but you just got a vibe that they were kind of still feeling a little bit of a collective hangover from being so close last season.
I feel a lot of hangovers for a lot of things, and I get over them faster than that.
and not getting over the hump. But to your point, though, we are now 30 games in. It's now time to put last season behind and flip that switch. Part of the problem, though, is the roster's not as good as it was last year, in the sense that Harden's playing just as well offensively as he played last year. Turnovers are up a little bit more. CP3 not playing as well as last year, which is a problem. Eric Gordon not nearly as good as last year. And again, not having Mbah Moute and Trevor Ariza matter. And also Ryan Anderson, even who I said because he was a problem last year, but you had to defend Ryan. You couldn't leave him open because he could shoot threes. Well, now you can sag off of James Ennis and these other guys they have out there, Michael Carter-Williams. The lanes are more clogged, right? The guys, it's just not quite what it was last year. Now, they're still talented enough to make the playoffs. They're a big win tonight.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I know that they're seemingly in their feelings, but you're still the Houston Rockets. Let's be serious. And like we always go back to, they were one game away from the finals.
with Houston, I think what's going to matter for them is, and I think they'll get it done. They'll get into the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
And
when their backs are against the wall.
And once they get in, I'll tell you what, you don't want to be. Let's say they just get into the 7 seed or a 6 seed because they can win on the road. They've proven that.
Yeah.
You don't want, if you're the number 2 seed or the 3 seed, you definitely don't want the Houston Rockets as your first round matchup.
Absolutely not. And let's take into account, too, going into the Christmas holiday, that their next, I think it's 7 games are at home.
Yeah.
So you're going to be at home. This is a chance to redeem yourself and get on that high
they'll
that
need
you
some
need.
home cooking. And the other thing about what they'll need to correct, more so off than their offense, is defensively.
They're putrid.
And the thing is, that's how we can't blame Melo. Melo's gone, and the defense still stinks.
Exactly.
It still stinks.
So let's just go back to they need Trevor Ariza.
Yeah,
shouldn't have gotten rid of him, in my opinion.
Well, but Trevor wanted to get paid, and Daryl Morey, the Rockets GM, couldn't pay everybody.
Course, yeah.
But look, the trade deadline, I expect the Rockets to make a move before February 7th, and we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
But defensively, they need to start cranking up the effort on that side.
Completely agreed. With that being said, our last What's Up is the Phoenix Suns. Oh man, what is going on with the Phoenix Suns? And the Nets just bet the Sixers.
So, are you saying the Nets held on to a fourth quarter lead?
They did.
Wow.
127 to 124, baby.
Wow. Well, wait a minute. So
did I just read it wrong?
No. So the Sixers made a hell of a comeback.
Oh yeah, being down like that, yeah, of course. But I mean, you didn't take the W, so I don't care.
Wow, Nets are going to be in a good mood Friday when I get to the arena when they play the Wizards.
Exactly.
I'm excited for that. Phoenix Suns.
Phoenix Suns, let's do that. Putting up 9 points.
In a quarter.
In a quarter alone. What?
That's
as much as like LBJ puts up in 30 seconds.
So they have not a ton of talent on that team. Devin Booker's great.
They still have some though.
DeAndre Ayton's got potential. What are they doing with Josh Jackson? He's coming off the bench now. I don't know what's happening there.
Why?
Robert Sarver might be the worst owner in the NBA. He might. It's either him or Dan Gilbert or Jerry Reinsdorf. Actually, one of the 3 of them.
I love when you do this.
Ooh, and Vivek, man. Although the Kings are playing a lot better than all those teams I just mentioned. So
I love my Sacramento Kings.
So you know what? The dumpster fire label might have to get taken off the Kings for now, and it might have to go to the Phoenix Suns. Culture seems to be poor over there.
I just don't know what it is. And the thing is that's sad too is Devin Booker can't stay off of injury.
No.
And
he needs help. Their roster's constructed poorly. Ayton, look, I like what Ayton can do. I wonder though, would Phoenix be better if they had Luka Doncic instead of DeAndre Ayton? So imagine Luka and Booker. Woo! The pick and rolls you could run with them.
No.
Just saying.
Fine.
Just saying.
Fine.
Just saying. Look. And I get why they took Ayton. He played at Arizona, and like the upside is huge. And
it's just not.
He's putting up good, okay numbers, but they,
But like we say, they're empty numbers.
Look, they're obviously in tank for Zion mode. So look, we'll see what they do. Because clearly, look, Phoenix is not. They are nowhere near a playoff team. They're going to be in the lottery yet again. Let's see what they do with the lottery this year. I mean,
exactly.
That's with the draft. That's
essentially all we can do at this point.
They're not making any moves. They're not doing any of that. They're just not. They don't have enough talent right now, and I don't really know. I don't really trust what ownership is doing there. I'm not sure.
Right.
So that's my concern if I'm a Phoenix Suns fan.
Hey, I hear you. I actually agree with you on that.
Look at that. We're
vibing. We're vibing this week. We're vibing. All right, let's move on to Are They For Real? Because a lot of teams are doing things that we're really not expecting. But okay, whatever. Let's see. Number 1, let's talk about the Raptors. Jarod, are they the best team out of the East? Because I know people are still sleeping on Toronto.
Toronto's excellent, man. They are clearly the best team in the East.
Is it those new OVO uniforms?
Woo! We love those OVOs. By the way, did you hit your man Drake up for our OVOs?
Oh, yeah. Slipped during the DMs. I'm sure I fell number 500.
500 million, probably.
Yeah, exactly. AKA, I did not
slide into those DMs. Oh, the Raptors are excellent. They have the second best point differential in the league behind the Milwaukee Bucks, who are also really good.
Let's just highlight the chemistry right now between the entire team, number 1, and then when it comes down to Kyle Lowry and Kawhi Leonard. To have chemistry like that when quiet Kawhi, who's not so quiet Kyle Lowry, says, comes to Toronto, and then the breakup of the season with DeMar, but the chemistry is still on point. That is how you adjust in basketball.
Yeah.
They're a prime example.
The roster is playing well. I love what Coach Nick Nurse is doing, experimenting with lineups.
You like Nurse.
I do like Nurse a lot. Kawhi's playing like an MVP level player.
He should be in MVP talks.
He should. Yeah, he's not playing back-to-back, so that's part of it. And we should say a juicy rematch tonight. A rematch from a game about a week ago. Toronto was in Golden State tonight to play the Warriors. They had that
excited.
They had that great game that went to overtime about a week and a half ago now, where Katie went berserk and scored 51 points.
I'll let you take this one.
No, listen, it's just it is what it is. But no, the Raptors are listen. I love what they're doing, and it's more than Kawhi. Yes, obviously Kawhi is the engine there, but it's what Kyle Lowry is doing. He's being more of a facilitator, not worried so much about scoring.
He's stepping up. He's got a leadership role to fulfill.
He's playing well. OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam.
Keep going.
Serge Ibaka. Fred VanVleet.
Yes, let's hear it.
Listen, these guys, everyone's playing their role. They know what it is. And my man, Jonas Valanciunas. I mean, they're doing it. And I love what they're doing on both ends, offensively and defensively. They were in LA last night. Kawhi did not play. They blew out the Clippers.
He didn't need to, yeah.
Who we just talked about as a good team out west.
They're playing good. They're playing good ball.
They're playing excellent, playing well at home and on the road. Now, some people have been talking about their schedule thus far has been a little soft, so let's not get crazy. But I still love what I'm seeing out of them.
Oh, yeah.
I love the development they have going on there. CJ Miles, they have Greg Monroe. I mean, so many good guys. I'm loving what I'm seeing.
So are they the best team out of the East?
They are the best team out of the East. And a little update for tonight. Kawhi will not play tonight, so they're being very cautious with him in that hip. And this is obviously in response to how San Antonio handled him,
or how they didn't
handle
him.
So Kawhi out tonight. VanVleet will play. Look, and even with Kawhi out, you're gonna play. They're facing a full tilt Warriors team. So and it's a back-to-back for them. So I expect the Warriors to really come out strong. But look, I'll be very curious to see what Toronto does tonight versus Golden State, and you and I will be
tuning in hard
to see that game.
Oh, you know it. So,
Boston and the Washington Wizards in overtime right now. Celtics lead 128-125 with 2.5 seconds to go.
Okay. So why don't we move on here? Is Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks for real in Milwaukee?
The best point differential.
Their win over the Raptors on Sunday.
Yeah, best point differential in the league. Giannis didn't even play that game.
So when they played the Raptors, did we just witness an Eastern Conference Finals preview?
I'd like to say yes, and I'd love to see that. First of all, Coach Budenholzer's got to be given a lot of credit for how he's changed the way the Bucks have played.
Oh yeah.
Listen, Jason Kidd and Joe Prunty clearly didn't realize what they had on their team talent-wise because the Bucks are shooting way more threes this year. They're playing that 5-out offense.
And Giannis is
the lanes are wide open, and they have plenty of room he can get to the rim. Kevin Durant was on Bill Simmons' podcast.
Oh, let's hear this one.
And it was his 6th iteration of visiting Bill. And Bill asked him, what's the difference between Giannis this year and last year? Or the question was, has Giannis made a leap? And he's like, yeah.
100%.
And then, Bill was like, what's the difference between Giannis this year and last year? And Kevin goes, he knows he's Giannis. and you can see it. Giannis definitely has come into his own and knows...
He's more confident this year.
He's much more confident. He knows he is, quote-unquote, that dude. Mm-hmm. He sees himself now when he walks into the arena as LeBron, KD, as Steph, as I'm that guy. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, he's putting up these monster numbers, and he still really can't shoot. So,
which says a lot.
Right. So imagine, listen, I don't think he'll ever be a 38% or 40% three-point shooter.
But if he can knock down a three?
But if he can get to 30% from three, yikes.
But if this man can knock down a three.
Oh, he's going to be the best player in the league. And mind you, I believe one of us picked Giannis to be MVP at the start of this season. Might have been me. Looking good so far. 7-footers. What do you think?
Okay, I'll give you the bragging rights.
But I do love what Budenholzer's doing in Milwaukee. Yes, right now I would love a Toronto-Milwaukee Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, it would be incredible. Like, who would you even pick?
Well, because I have to stick. I have the Raptors and the Warriors playing in the finals, so it'd have to be Raptors. But I'm going to pick Raptors in 7 in that series.
You would take Raptors in 7?
Raptors in 7, yeah.
Okay. I guess I would take Raptors too, obviously, and I think that the Bucks would push it to 7.
Oh yeah,
for
sure.
100%. That would be an incredible series.
Great series.
Right? Oh my gosh, we are literally just on fire here. So let's keep going here. Celtics. Now, I remember last week we spoke about how they were basically garbage on offense. Great on defense, but they had no offense whatsoever. But they appear to be rounding the corner, Jarod. So, for all of the people out there who know
what's coming,
who know what I'm talking about, what's Brad Stevens doing now, Jarod? Look that camera in the face and tell everybody what Brad Stevens is doing now.
Listen, everyone knows that it's not that I'm okay. Yes, I am critical of Brad, and my criticism is about everyone thinking he's the greatest coach since sliced bread. I think he's good, but labeling him as the greatest in the NBA, it's like pump the brakes. Now, I will say, his moves of moving Gordon Hayward to the bench and putting Marcus Smart and Marcus Morris in the starting lineup, yes, smart move. Because now you have guys with defined roles in the lineup, right? Guys who give them an infusion of energy like Smart and Morris. Those guys are bulldogs, man. And they give them
they play so tough, and Hayward's just not there right
now. Not there right now. They give them an identity, and their bench unit's better. So moving Jaylen Brown and Gordon Hayward to the bench, that's a nice little unit now, right? So with Rozier, right? So it works. It works, and they're doing better. Now, I will say this. Their wins have not been over the NBA's elite. Okay?
No, they're hanging on by a thread.
Right? They're not world beaten over here, but I will give them their props. And that game just did end in overtime. Boston did beat the Wizards 130-125. So their win streak continues. That is now 7 games in a row. Granted, they beat the Wizards, so let's not.
I was just going to say, okay, let's break down that score really quick. You have the Washington Wizards who are playing like garbage, but you have the Celtics who people campaign them to take the East, sweep the East, honestly.
Yeah, that's what everybody's saying.
And you win above the Wizards for just 5 points?
And the Wizards without John Wall, mind you. Oh, no, Wall did play tonight.
Oh, I was going to say.
I thought Wall was out tonight. No, Wall played. Wall had 34, Bradley with 22. Yeah, good game.
Bradley.
Your man, Kyrie.
What did he put up?
38 and 7.
That's right. He's from West Orange, people. I live in Jersey.
38 and 7. Marcus Morris had 27. Woo! Marcus Smart with 18. Jason Tatum with 12.
Slump Tatum. Slump Jaylen Brown.
Well, you know what's going on with Tatum. Spent too much time this summer with Kobe Bryant.
You keep blaming that Mamba mentality.
Moving on.
Oh, please, before things get a little bit chippy up in here. We don't want to cause a fight over here. Okay, let's move on to OKC. They have the best defense in the league.
They do.
The top of the Western Conference?
They do. Well, best defense in the league, and they're a half game behind the Warriors for #1 seed. They have a tiebreaker because they beat the Warriors so far head-to-head.
Would have never said that with their 0-4 start, though.
Right. They've come on strong.
Now they're like, what, 14-4?
Yeah. Listen, I will say this. Russell Westbrook is playing under control and good team basketball.
He's playing, amen, first of all. He's playing extremely unselfish.
Yes.
Believe it or not, kids, he is passing the ball at the end of the 4th and letting other people take the last game winner because he's used to saving the day.
He is.
But I think it also helps, though, that he's passing that ball to Paul George, who he's very close with. You need to have that chemistry.
He is. This is year 2 for Paul, and so they were here last week against the Nets.
Yeah.
Great game that was. Paul went berserk in the 4th quarter.
Oh my gosh. What did he drop, like 50?
47. He was unreal.
Got a little ice bath at the end of the game there.
He was killing it. And I talked to Paul after the game about that and his comfort level, right?
Yeah.
He and Russ are in a zone right now from a comfort standpoint. The question so are they for real? Yes, we think they're for real.
They are for real. Bad start, good.
Because you know what travels in the playoffs? Defense travels.
Thank you.
So they can guard people.
Mm-hmm.
What I fear about them in the playoffs is, though, do they have enough offense? Can they score enough points to beat the upper edge to beat the Warriors, right? Because look, they may be the second best team in the West right now, and that could be a Western Conference Finals matchup.
Yeah,
wouldn't that be delicious?
Oh my God.
But do they have enough scoring to stop the Warriors? And that I don't know.
Well, that's the thing.
Well, now I don't know. I know they don't. And so that will be my concern. Is there enough scoring bunch? But are they going to just hold their hat? Put their hat on? No, our defense is going to be our thing. And can Russell continue this play all season and up to the playoffs? When they get into that inevitable period where they lose 2 in a row, is Russ going to revert back to what he knows, which is, I got to get us out of this, instead of, no, guys, the team.
The thing there, okay, let's...
And let me be clear. I don't think Russell's a selfish player. It's not that.
No,
that's just
it's
his
just
mind.
Russ.
That's just Russ. Because, listen, Russ wasn't a high major D1 prospect. He was a 6 man at UCLA. He was not supposed to be this NBA MVP.
Averaging triple-double for a second season in a row.
None of that.
Yeah.
None of that. So
No.
he's done that through sheer force of will. So so he's like, why would I change what has gotten me to this point? So I get that. It's just a matter of, to win a title, you have to have more of a cohesive system.
I completely agree. And let's talk about also what we know. OKC chokes early on in the playoffs. They do. I don't mean that in a bad way, but they always find a way to choke. Russ, unfortunately, finds a way to be a little bit inconsistent because, like you just said, he plays with that force, which is amazing. It's Russ. It's his personality. I would never want to change him.
Right.
But there's sometimes when you need to revert and bring it back a little bit.
But
and right now,
but when
Russ
defense
is
in
like
the playoffs, load and sag and say, okay, we're not letting you get below the free throw line and force and dare him to chuck up and shoot threes, which he's not good at. That's how you win.
I know. And speaking of defense, OKC, while they're not lacking on defense, they are technically lacking defense.
Their best defender,
Andre Roberson out. He just suffered a setback with his injury. Fill me in a little bit.
Yeah, he was here. He was here with the team. Obviously, didn't play when they were here in Brooklyn. I saw him in the locker room, and he was definitely limping. Okay. So it's going to be a little while before he gets back. When he's on the floor, though, in a potential series with Golden State, that means that Paul George doesn't have to guard Kevin Durant. You can put Andre Roberson on him, which means Paul George now can get on Klay Thompson or Steph Curry, right? So this is what we're saying when we're like, this is a team that can give the Warriors problems because they're lengthening their defense, right? They can really make it difficult for those guys to, look, as I always say, you don't ever stop Kevin Durant from scoring. You don't stop Steph Curry from scoring, right? You should make it more difficult, right? Maybe you make him score 30 points on 30 shots, which is not... That team is the height of efficiency. But if you force them into that, that's how you win games.
And hey, after what we just saw with OKC in Brooklyn, I mean, the end of that play, they were down, came back, they were hungry in the fourth. So, I mean, it's that kind of resilience, too, that's going to help you win games down the stretch. So, I mean, I think we're seeing a lot of great things out of OKC. So, let's move on this here, okay?
Yep.
Let's move on to the Nuggets really quick. 18-9 in the upper echelon of the West in injuries.
Yeah,
they just acquired Swaggy P. I mean, what's happening in Denver? Because they're wild.
Denver needs scoring right now too, right? I mean, look, first of all, let's just give a shout out to my man Nikola Jokic. He is balling right now.
You're a big fan.
I love Jokic. Big man who can pass it, who can shoot the three, rebound. He's playing extremely well right now. But they got injuries, right? Millsap's hurt. Will Barton's hurt. Gary Harris is hurt. Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic have to literally play like all-stars every night with these injuries in order for them to continue. And look, Jokic is only in his second year. I don't know that they can play at that level. Now, Jokic should get all-star consideration, and I think he will. But
I hope so.
They have to do that now if they want to continue on in this way. And it's going to be a problem right now. They need scoring. Look, they've got Michael Porter Jr., who we don't know when he's coming back, but they need wing scoring right now. And
Isaiah Thomas doesn't have a timetable for return, so it's not looking
good
in Denver right now.
That's why they got Swaggy P. Because they're hoping Swag can bring a little more ball going in instead of shooting up balls and turning around when it clanks off the rim.
I mean,
they hope to get less of that.
Swaggy P will take a little bit of championship
DNA
to Denver.
But
we shall see with Swaggy P. I mean, we saw him sign that contract the other day. So, last but not least, the Mavericks. 14-11, 7-3 in their last 10 games. Luka Doncic going off. Going off after it was rumored that they had troubles in the locker room with DeAndre Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
So clearly that's obviously not true.
No, I think DeAndre's just getting used to, like, being on that squad. And also, you know, Luka is the man on that team right now.
He ain't playing like no rookie.
Well, listen, he dominated the EuroLeague and Eurobasket. So, I mean, there's no surprise he comes to the NBA and he's playing well. I mean, that's an adult
transition.
League. It's a very easier transition for him. You know, he's still turning the ball over a bit and doing rookie-type things, but they trust him in crunch time. He has excellent court vision. He passes really well. He can shoot it 37% from three. Those step-back jumpers, I'm like, woo!
Giving some, like, LeBron action with those step-backs.
Luka's doing great. I love what the Mavericks are doing right now. Can they sustain it? I don't know. You know, Dirk is still not back yet, and, you know, Dirk's also in year 20 or whatever he's in. So so I don't know what you're going to get out of Dirk. DSJ, Dennis Smith Jr., you know, we're still working on him being a consistent player.
Lost that tooth the other night. Man,
Pat Beverly.
He was cool about it, though.
He was. And Harrison Barnes. So they have pieces, but I think they don't have their draft pick this year because they traded to Atlanta to get Luka. I wonder, are they going to make a move before the trade deadline to pick somebody up? You know, maybe Tim Hardaway Jr. for the Knicks.
Ooh.
Be a nice. Listen,
it wouldn't be a bad idea since the Cavs just bet them.
listen, that'd be a nice little added scoring punch for them.
Honestly, I really can't wait to see what these teams are doing. And let's remind the 7-footers that the trade deadline is February 7, 2019. But 2018 free agents can't be moved until December 15th.
Yeah. So guys like Carmelo Anthony, Ray Felton. Not a ton of household names, but
I mean, hey, there were little talks about LeBron being happy if Carmelo came to LA, but we hear Magic isn't entertaining that. No. So who else are candidates that we could, you know, maybe see moving?
Carmelo is not going anywhere. Brandon Ingram is a candidate that can get moved for sure.
A good move too if he gets his mojo back.
Yeah.
Right.
Trevor Ariza is a buyout candidate for sure.
A lot of people got their eyes on Trevor.
Right. He's not playing well, but maybe that's just a product of being in Phoenix.
Trevor Ariza, yeah.
So, Luke Richard and Bamute. Listen, the guys can get moved around, and so it'll be interesting to see in December, are we going to get anything, or are we going to see a whole lot of big moves? Again, watch out for a Hardaway Jr. move from the Knicks.
You predicting it now?
Just saying things could be a little, you know. Well, because look, the Knicks, let's be honest. They're in tank for Zion mode, so you know, and Hardaway Jr. is playing well, so
he is playing well. Kristaps still doesn't have a timetable for return either. Kevin Knox isn't really doing what we want him to do at the point.
I saw him on Saturday at Kentucky was in town playing Seton Hall at City Hoops Classic, and he showed up at that game. You know, look, I think
he is a student of the game.
He is. I think he's a rookie. He's going through some ups and downs, but you know,
absolutely, as they all do. So with that being said, I think it's time to wrap this one up here in our new studio. Thank you for having us. Shout outs to producer Matt.
Shout outs to producer Matt.
He's just sitting here listening to us go back and forth all night. So thanks for hanging with us, guys, and hopefully you will see us in these new digs permanently.
You will definitely see us back in these new digs, and our next episode is going to be a special one, I think, right?
It is going to be. So, guys, tune in for that. I mean, Christmas Day matchups.
Christmas Day games, woo!
We're going to preview all of those for
Milwaukee,
you. Milwaukee,
New York, LeBron and Golden State, woo!
Oh, I can't wait.
You can't wait. OKC, New Orleans Pelicans. What? Listen, man.
It's gonna get crazy.
We're excited.
That's why we're gonna be here.
NBA, best league in the world, guys. We tell you that every week.
Oh, they know. We're gonna get it on a T-shirt soon. So, but yeah, we will see you guys back here in a week to preview the Christmas Day matchups.
Slate, man. That's when all you casual fans start watching the NBA.
Yeah, when it's on in the background at your grandma's house because your uncle's watching. Yeah, that's when it's going to be. So stay tuned for that, guys, and we will see you next week.
Peace.